Arsenal have no central threat and need a centre forward fast. PS Viktor Gyökeres. Well, I just went through the Arsenal versus Newcastle game, looking at where Arsenal went wrong, and it was clear for me to see that there was no players in the central zones. Here in his example, we've got a throw in here with Thomas Partey, and I just want you to look who is occupying the central areas of the pitch with the centre halves. I'm talking about Recieve and Livramento. There's far too much of an obsession of condensing the pitch and getting options and numbers in and around the ball. Sometimes you need that player to just go right up against the other centre half. I know Havertz is kind of doing that, but again, it's not enough. He's still in close proximity with the player with the ball, which is Thomas Partey. Why can't Leandro Trossard come into this area? You've got enough here. Merino, Declan Rice, William Saliba. Merino can just occupy this zone. You've even got Saka here. It's the small things like this, 38 minutes into the game, where you would think, things aren't working. We're trying to condense the pitch. We're trying to get in close proximity with each other. Let's have this somebody that can go right up against the centre halves and create havoc, create chaos. And this is where I feel like, we miss a striker. But actually, we miss a system where a striker can use that central areas and be a central threat. I've seen Martinelli get a lot of criticism from the game, and probably rightly so, but when I was looking at it, he did create a lot of opportunities on his left foot, trying to get at his man, and there was just no one in that central area, nobody attacking that front post zone. Here, you have to have a player here. You cannot have Martinelli as isolated as he is here. 3 versus 1. Here is Gabriel Martinelli. Look what he has. 1, 2, 3 players in and around marking that zone. You've got 4, 5, 6, even 7, 8. It's incredible how outnumbered Newcastle, have us in our own attacking areas. Kai Havertz and Saka, they're a bit too obsessed with being in around that back post zone. I get it for Saka, but someone like Kai Havertz, he has to have the desire to get across here so he can create an option for Martinelli, because that will make Shah cut across here. And then Tino Livramento is almost looking over his shoulder as well. There's just not enough movement in those central striker areas, and it has to improve. I'm sure Mikel Arteta is looking at these games, looking at these away games where we have tried to accommodate a formation without Martin Odegaard, but it's not working at all, because it's just reducing our central threat, reducing the amount of runs that Kai Havertz can make across the front of goal, simply because he's so used to having to be the link player to Saka in this new 4-4-2. He's not making strikers runs. I know it sounds ridiculous, but psychologically, knowing you have to have a sort of a different role where you're not occupying the centre halves means he's not naturally making these movements across this area, which is necessary, especially for Martinelli, especially here. I think Merino as well, he's far too deep here. Here is the number 23. We bought him to also be a box presence as well. So this is where a striker is definitely missed, because we wouldn't even need Merino to be in this area if our striker was making runs across goal. Here is Viktor Gyökeres, a fan favourite that every Arsenal fan seems to want us to sign, in a similar sort of zone. The ball is here, and look at Viktor Gyökeres. I know it's not that clear, but look, he's attacking that front post area, and this was where Saka, the Martinellis would be. This would be their zone, the back's post. This would be all to themselves. But because we are so obsessed with having to do this 4-4-2, where our strikers, the Trossards, the Havertz, are receiving in the half spaces and nobody's occupying the centre halves, these runs aren't being made enough. And I just think signing a striker, whether it's Gyokeres, whether it's anyone, will just make Arteta proactively think, okay, we need someone to constantly occupy the centre halves to give us a better opportunity at scoring. Because these formations are just being made with the idea that the players can play these positions rather than what's best for them. Someone like Havertz has been so good in these areas where he just occupies the centre halves, where he has time to think and make runs across goal. But again, it just feels as though Arteta is a bit scared to try it, to keep going. Even Wanyeri to play in the 8. Even if you're going to play Trossard in the 8, you can still then play Havertz in the centre forward area normally. Just play Trossard in the Odegaard role and keep Havertz as the 9. Otherwise, someone like Viktor Gyökeres in January makes sense, because you cannot play him anywhere else. You just know, if I'm starting Gyökeres, he's going to play number 9, he's going to occupy the centre halves, and we're going to have more central sort of threat, and that is key for us scoring more goals. Here again is Viktor Gyökeres for Sporting Lisbon. Look at him occupying the centre halves. This opposition, we're playing with a back 3, and look at it. Look at how you should play number 9, how you should play against teams who occupy those central areas with a lot of centre halves. You put someone right up against them. Here's the ball. Gyokeres is ready to either spinning behind or come into this gap or even just receive it into feet. There was not enough times where our centre forward, Trossard or Havertz, receiving it to back to goal where we can then link the play. And that happens because they're just too busy in those half spaces receiving the passes. This is what Mikel Arteta has to think about and look at, because we need that central threat. And Gyokeres, in these sort of images, I'm just showing you that he can be the player to occupy the centre halves. And it gives Arteta no choice because he is a 9. He can't play anywhere else. He's better in those sort of central areas, and he gives, most importantly, central threat. Back up that Gyokeres point of centre halves and just look here. Why is nobody in this zone where the arrow is? We need somebody to be standing right here to receive the ball. Trossard, I don't know why. Okay, I get it. This was probably on Merino, actually. He's got to be the one in this area to help Martinelli out. And then Trossard can be in this zone, which I've put here. This is where the rotations just aren't happening for Arsenal at the minute. Really, when we haven't got that centre forward with a central threat, Trossard is having to rotate. Merino isn't quite understanding his role. He isn't in close proximity with Martinelli, and it really is impacting our way of playing. Havertz, look how far away from the play he is. He's got to be in this area. He's got to create that central threat and be right up against the centre halves, because we can then do so many things. Link the play. You know, he can turn and shoot and drive. It then drags players. Share, it's an easy job for him. If Martinelli gets past here, Share can easily shift across and not worry, because there will be no one here. But with Gyokeres, with the formation which accommodates a striker, Arsenal is so much more potent and have much more likelihood of creating more opportunities and scoring more goals. What I will say though is the second half was a lot better. Havertz is a lot closer to the centre halves. I know, and you know, we actually did make a lot more chances in the second half purely off Havertz occupying the centre half. I can just go off the top of my head when Martinelli played it into Trossard and he lost his footing. Declan Rice driving with the ball, he was able to do that because Havertz was occupying the centre halves and get a shot off. Saka's cross into the back stick area was able to happen because Havertz was occupying the centre half centrally. So there is proof that somebody occupying this zone, it makes us a lot more dangerous. But again, you know, we're not making the most of these situations at the minute, and that's maybe due to a lack of connection here. This has nothing to do with the centre forward or anyone being in there, but this ball has to go into the feet of Nwaneri. I know Nwaneri could have made a run in here, but it's just that connection. And with Ødegaard, I'm sure Ben would have known what to do, but it just wasn't clicking. Whatever, you know, I don't know what it was with us yesterday or the day before, actually. We just didn't quite have it. We didn't quite have everything clicking, and it all comes potentially from that first half where we just weren't occupying the centre halves enough, giving them some challenge, giving them some threat from us. You know, it all comes from us. We're a good side. I have multiple, you know, amounts of belief and faith in us that we're going to go on this title charge. It's just about having Ødegaard back, because I think that's the only way that Arteta is going to recognise we need a centre forward with central threat and that we can play with a centre forward, because he seems to think can't do that. Well, the guy, you know, I was on about in the video, using his examples with Viktor Gyökeres, 16 goals in 10 games in the Portuguese league, 2 goals in 2 games in the Champions League as well, with a couple of assists to his name too. He seems to be the centre forward on, you know, a lot of Arsenal fans' lips. So let's just have a nice little talk about him. I feel like he's a good player, but my only troubles with him is most of his goals actually come in transition. I understand, you know, Sporting Lisbon, the way they play, the way they press high, they have a lot of high turnovers, which allows the strikers to have the opportunity to run in behind a lot and have a lot of, you know, transitional opportunities. But I just worry for a team like Arsenal when we're worrying about penning teams back, where we have to have somebody occupying those centre halves from a position where, you know, they're deep. Can Gyokeres do that? But I've seen a lot of his goals. It's all about him being really quick with his feet in the box, great ball striking. You know, all of these things are really important. I can see him being really good in the games where, you know, away to the Liverpools, away to the Cities, because he can run those channels, he can hold the ball up as well, and he can have a fantastic strike on him too. He can run with the ball as well. All of these things are really important things, but when we're playing against the Newcastles at St James's Park, where there's not going to be chances for him to run in behind, can he be impactful? I know the images I've shown can show that he can be impactful and occupy those front post zones, but it's just a food for thought, because he's going to cost a lot of money. I would suggest, you know, they cost around 40 to 45 million minimum. And you know, that's with Sporting probably wanting to keep him for another extra years, even with Amarin leaving. Although he did say one of the reasons for him staying with Sporting this season was due to Amarin. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with him. Would a January bid be something we would want to do? I don't know. But I'm happy with Havertz. I'm happy with Havertz. It's just he isn't playing in the centre forward area, and when you're not playing Havertz in the centre forward area, he makes him quite redundant. And I feel like maybe someone like Gyokeres or a striker signing will make Arteta realise how important a striker can be to our side. But definitely, Gyokeres is a goal scoring machine. Let me know down below your thoughts on him and about the central issues Arsenal have. But until next time, Gunners, peace.